Hello everyone, it's another janky vlog from Nicole, and this time this one's 4 years late. So in 2018 I studied in Prague for a semester, and I figured why not throw it back to 2018 and talk a bit about my experience in Prague. I figured this will be a multi-part vlog type thing since, I spent like three and a half months there, and I don't want to smush all that into one vlog, so instead we'll cover kind of the first month I was in Prague, February, and luckily for you and for me, I wrote a journal while I was over there, so I'm pretty much just gonna be reading my journal entries with some things taken out and some things added in. Anyway, let's go. The day I left California, sad face. Grace and I had Panda Express, which I miss. Our flight was delayed by 4 hours, with half of that just sitting on the plane. At least I had a window seat. Then we met Adam, who's also from Chapman. 10 hours on a plane is less than ideal. I think I got maybe 3 hours of sleep. First time I got meals on a plane, it was okay. Edible, at least. Our connecting flight at Heathrow had to be rescheduled, which meant around 20 of us CEA people got into Prague around 11 p.m. They set us up in a nearby hotel, sleeping in a real bed, and showering was divine. First actual day in Prague. Got to our apartment and met Rebecca, one of our roommates, who's from USD. Our other two roommates were also from USD. Pleasantly surprised by how big the apartment is. I mean, it's bigger than the coop. We got lunch at the Palladium, which was the local mall, and it was an okay panini. I made the mistake of asking for water, which was like 50 kroon/crowns, which equaled at the time about $2.50. In case you didn't know, I feel like this is fairly common knowledge for differences between Europe and America, but water is not free over in Europe. If you ask for water, they bring you like a bottle of water or something. It's not the same. I had been told before going over that was the case, but you're so naturally kind of acclimated to just automatically asking for water when you sit down in a restaurant in the US that's just what I did, and I totally forgot and blanked. Yeah, I could have spent that $2.50 on like a drink that was much more interesting than water, but my bad. Went grocery shopping. First, we went to Delmar, which is pricier and has more special food, than Albert, which is in the Palladium. Better prices, more normal. We had our house visit and got Indian food. It was good. Grace and I venture into the city, John Lennon Wall, Charles Bridge, figure out the tram and metro and getting to school. Homesickness is still real. Also, side note, in my journal for some reason I'm partially writing in present tense. I think that's just a holdover for me being a screenwriter, and I'm trying to change the tense as I read it. So that night I met up with Jackie and met Cal and Julia. We went to Prague Castle, which is beautiful at night. It got super cold, so we found a restaurant to hole up in, one of the Pilsner ones. I've never been to a place where the server straight up comes to you with beer. I said no, cause money, also beer is gross. Good strudel though. There was a nice old man playing accordion. I vibe with it. We go to church at Prague Christian Fellowship. Heard about it from other Ivy University kids abroad in Prague. It was a nice community and environment. Apparently they focus on a country each week for prayer, which is cool. The actual sermon wasn't quite to my taste, but whatever. The service was longer than it normally is in California, which is good. Went to the Kinsky Palace in Old Town Square, cause free admission to all national galleries. There are 6. Grace and I met up with Adam and his 4 roommates, but 2 left for the Sex Museum. They had Asian art, which I love, but the guys were done pretty quickly. Then we headed to the Trade Fair Palace and ran into Jackie and Cal on the way, so they tagged along. I love the Trade Fair Palace. There's like 3 floors of art. I really like the Czech art from the late 19th century. Also, they had Picasso, Matisse, Van Gogh, so much beauty. The rest of them left after the first floor, but I stayed. I felt so at peace, and museums are just a great place to be alone. First day of class, and of course I missed the tram, so ended up walking to school and being 10 minutes late. But at least it was a beautiful walk. It started snowing. On Mondays I have check at 9:30 a.m. and magic, science, and religion in mystical Prague at 11:30 a.m. Spent the next couple of hours trying to get an ISIC card, and student service is hell on earth. Had to go to the metro to get my picture. Went to Tesco with Grace, which thus far is my preferred grocery store. Big selection, good prices. We got this awesome milk pudding, and I got these chocolate-covered hazelnuts. So many sweets. Went early to school to get my ISIC card. Finally. Tuesdays, I have Jewish experience in Central Europe at 11:30 a.m. Went to Vodafone after school to finally get my SIM card. Data, at last! Wednesdays are Czech at 9:30 a.m. and Prague Art and Architecture at 11:30 a.m. Went to Old Town Square and Old Town Hall on a field trip, which was dope. The views were amazing. Also learned there's like an entire Romanesque city under Prague because it flooded back in the 10th, 11th, 12th maybe century, so they just built like 8 meters above it. It's very odd having a weekend longer than your week, but also great. I went to the Czech Museum of Music with Jackie and Cal, which was cool. Then we got Chinese food that wasn't really Chinese food, which was disappointing. Had the apartment to myself for the weekend. Went to one of the national museums, the one on North and South America and Oceania. It was alright. Napolotsky Farmers Market. I got there before Jackie and Cal, so I watched these swans for a bit. Then this group started playing Irish music, like what I listened to as a kid. So much happy nostalgia. Homesickness, barely gone. Got some pastries that were just okay. They weren't sweet, which was sad. Got some white people char siu bao that was really just a bun filled with pulled pork. Also way more expensive than normal, but really, what did I expect from the Czech Republic? Because I suck and wasn't feeling accountable, but also crappy, I skipped church. Oops. I think I just stayed in. It's hard to motivate oneself when alone. Went to classes, then grocery shopping at Tesco. Got the milk pudding and chocolate hazelnuts again. And I found tofu. Bought a new iced tea, Lipton's Jasmine Lychee Green Tea. Initially a bit strong for me, but I've gotten used to it. Definitely feel the caffeine. Still on search for perfect iced tea. I miss the iced tea back home. And Trader Joe's salads, and boba, good Asian food. Sigh. For class, we went to Clausen Synagogue. Grace's birthday and Valentine's Day. We went on a little boat cruise for class around Charles Bridge. They had free drinks, including beer and wine, but I stuck with the safe option of tea. It was a good tea. My birthday, 21. I'd still rather drink iced tea over alcohol, but whatever. I remain a sober gal, at least until I find some alcohol that doesn't feel like a chore to get through. Spent 4 hours on a train to Vienna with Grace. Didn't feel awesome. Better after I filled my stomach with some bread. Took some time to find our hostel. There was an older lady who only spoke German staying in our room, and she was asleep when we came in at 7 p.m. Pretty awkward. Grace and I split a pizza, then went to check out the Opera House. It was cool, but I ate too much and my stomach hurt. Got breakfast at a cute cafe that I would so go back to. Ate an Austrian pancake with apricot jam. So good. Turns out Jackie and Cal were also in Vienna, so we met them at the Schönbrunn Palace, which is huge and beautiful. Honestly took my breath away and made me giddy with excitement at it all. I could have spent the entire day there. We ate lunch at an Austrian place and the soup was good, but salty. Next was Habsburg Palace, where I went to the Sissy Museum. I read a historical fiction book about her over the summer, Accidental Empress, and now I really want to go back and reread it. Then we went to the Albertina Museum, which has some Monet and Picasso on display. Art museums are the best. Gongge Fa Choi. Since it was Lunar New Year, we went to a Chinese restaurant that sounded perfect. Much better than Prague. Met back up with Jackie and Cal at the Belvedere. We saw Klimt, the kiss. Also, we had cake for breakfast because it was the cheapest thing on the museum menu. Cal and Jackie headed back to Prague, and Grace and I got some Asian food. It was good, not great. We checked out St. Stephen's Cathedral, the Carl's Church, then St. Peter's. All beautiful. But there was a store inside St. Stephen's which felt really wrong. Like Jesus flipping tables in the temple wrong. Also at St. Peter's, Mass had just started, and it felt so wrong to ogle at the church while people were worshiping. It's a sacred place and we were just tourists. Headed back to our hostel to find 2 new girls who also happened to be Americans studying at Anglo-American University, but not through CEA. Apparently they had a wild weekend in Budapest. They were nice. We got schnitzel together. Got some nice French toast for breakfast. Vienna does breakfast well. Went to St. Mark's Cemetery where Mozart is buried. There's a pseudo grave for him in the middle because I'm not sure exactly where he's buried. I'm glad this not is a real grave, it's too alone. But anyway, the cemetery was super cool. I wish we had ones like in the US. Went to another church where I once again felt awkward cause Mass. Went to a bakery and got some bomb sweets. Walked around and stumbled on another church that was stunning. 4-hour train ride back to Prague. Feels good to be back home. Finally caught up in this journal. Daily entries start now. We went to Vyšehrad for class, and it has a cool neo-Gothic cathedral and awesome views of the city. The National Cemetery is also there, where people of import like artists are buried. It's beyond stunning, like an art museum. Went grocery shopping today at Albert. I just got dry goods, but it also ended up being less than $10, which is insane. God bless the Czech Republic. After class, got gelato with Grace, Cal, and Jackie. It was so good. Figuring out Budapest plans. Man, I suck at remembering to write in this. This is why I don't keep a journal at home. I'm writing this on the 24th. Anyway, we went to St. Agnes's Convent for class. She seems cool. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, but at 9 p.m. we have digital small group, so that's cool. Got lunch with the other university people in Prague. Anna, Lauren, Irene, Grace, and I went to Cafe Louvre. Their hot chocolate is amazing. They were all super nice, so that was fun. Went grocery shopping. I got some store brand peach iced tea for 12 crowns. Still not quite right. A tad too tart. But hey, it was 12 crowns. Also bought my own alcohol for the first time. It's cider. Still haven't tried it. I'll let you know. Went to the ballet tonight with CEA at the National Theatre. The theater is beautiful. I got dressed up, which meant walking to the metro and theater with my legs bare, wearing heeled platform sandals. I looked cute, and it wasn't too cold at first, but then I kind of lost feeling in my legs and toes. Anyway, the ballet was beautiful, although the second piece was weird. They slapped their butts. Not really my thing. Went to Shanghai Duo for lunch. Not really Chinese food. Sad. Tried to get my package from the post office, Posta, but it's at customs. Sigh. If you're wondering, said package was my retainer because I had left it at home. Sad days. Went to Vitkov National Monument for some nice views. It's a big horse. Saw Black Panther later, and yes, brunch with women from Prague Christian Fellowship. They're all so nice, and food is great. Talked about our identity in God. Reminded me community is an important part of that. Went to Sapa, aka Little Hanoi. It's kind of far. It's like its own little village, whereas back home, Little Saigon and Chinatown are more in and like a part of the city. Interesting. We found some ingredients, ate some good pho. Grace and I made mung bean soup with tapioca pearls. Yum. Church of Prague Christian Fellowship. It felt really good to be there in that environment. Anna, Lauren, Grace, and I went, and we met a group of other people we got lunch with at the farm. They're all from YWAM in Australia, so they're leaving Prague for Germany in a little. Took a test for magic, science, and religion. I think I did well. Made sesame seed balls with Grace. A little burn, not super round, but they still taste fine. Went to a cat cafe with Chelsea, Catherine, and Grace. Cat cafes are the best idea ever. Had some great chocolate cake, but then my stomach hurt. Grace tried to make the red bean paste, but took out the beans before they were soft enough. So not a paste, just sweet red beans. Writing this on March 6th because I'm trying, man. Went to Prague Castle and St. Vitus Cathedral with class. St. Vitus is one of the most beautiful cathedrals, dude. So cool with the stained glass windows. Forgot to mention I got a new iced tea. Verity peach flavor. It's good, maybe the closest. Got dinner with Grace, Anna, and Lauren at Cafe Louvre. Got a disappointing salad where they drowned the lettuce with dressing, but their hot chocolate is still the best. Had cool spiritual conversation. Blessed. Digital small group after. And that was my first month in Prague. I'll talk about my second month, good old March, in the next installment. See you all later. Bye.